A lot's been said about Phil Foden, Goughie, but I was watching him last night and I was mesmerised by Phil Foden with everything that he was doing, with the leadership he showed, actually, as he was doing it, the quality of his work, the discipline of his work, everything about him I was just amazed by, because it was so impressive. He's still only 20. It's hard to believe. He's still only played 3 times for England. It's so hard to believe, and I think that's a mistake on Gareth Southgate's part, by the way. But I cannot see a fault with this player. He has quality, he has talent, he makes a difference in games, he has tactical discipline, he has work rate. There's nothing lacking from his game. Now, over the years, how many English players can we say that about? That there's nothing lacking from his game, that they're doing it at the very top level. Those were trusted at that top level by the best coach in the world, arguably, and had no flaws in their game. How many of those players have there been? And I go all the way back, and I'm trying to think. There's been some brilliant players. Don't get me wrong, been some fantastic players. But I go back to the 66 World Cup and Bobby Moore, and I don't think there was a flaw in his game. So I think Phil Foden's the best since then. And it's an amazing... I never thought I would say this. I would think if somebody said it to me, it was hype. But I genuinely believe it. Phil Foden's that good.
What I will say is, but I think both me and you really enjoy watching Phil Foden. We've talked many times, we get frustrated purely because we want to see him every game. We understand what Pep Guardiola was doing. He was bringing him along slowly and bringing him along so he's ready for it when he gets in and has a permanent place in the Manchester City side. And now we're seeing the benefits. This season, we're seeing a real footballer on display. So there's no doubt he is a terrific player. But I've seen this so many times, Ed, I really have, where English players are built up by us, by the media in general, and they very rarely live up to that hype over a period of time. There's so many, and you can go whether it be Owen, Rooney, Wilshere, Rodwell, Walcott. Remember 2011 and Wilshere's performance against Barcelona? People were going to say he was going to be the best England footballer we've ever had and the best since Gascoigne, which said it all about him. You look at players now, Dele Alli when he first came, and he's going to be England's best player, build a team around him for the next 10 years. That didn't last long. Jude Bellingham, already his performances were building him up to be the best. He's got to start in England's 11. They can't all start in England's 11. Sancho, Greenwood, Rashford. There's so many of them. Grealish, Maddison. But they can't all play for England in, and I totally get the Foden situation of him being a fantastic player. But he still might not start in England's 11 come the Euros. He might not. Let's just accept it, but he might not be picked by Gareth Southgate in the starting 11. Because once attention comes on a young sportsman, not just football especially because of the following it has in this country and the hype from the media, and expectation is expected every single game, a lot of players, do you know what I mean? They go hiding. They find it difficult to live up to. And there's a lot of things in that. There's injury, there's attitude, there's lifestyle management, there's management in general. And we've got to admit now, and you've said it there, he's managed by arguably the best manager in the world, or the top 2 or 3 managers in the world, in Pep Guardiola. But when he plays for England, that isn't going to be the case.
No, and if there's no trophies with England, it won't be Phil Foden's fault. But you've just listed, with the possible exception of Rooney, who's a different case, you've just listed a load of very, very good players.
No, but they were great at the time, eh?
Yeah,
I am sure you'll have been on here talking about
No,
Wilshere.
hang on. Hang on.
I'll get right.
You
if
can't
we can
put
go
words,
back,
you can't put words in my mouth.
I can't. Well, so can somebody go back from the year Wilshere played against Barcelona?
Well, you're just making it up
find,
now.
Well, I'm making it up, but I'm guaranteeing you now, you'll have said at some point, but Wilshere is world class. I've never seen a talent like that when he was that young.
I said he played very well against Barcelona. The media have done it.
Years and years and years.
No, we're talking about something completely different here. He had a brilliant game against Barcelona. He was then, and there's a massive difference, if you let me go and explain. With Jack Wilshere, he had that talent. He was fantastic that particular night, and he showed over a number of games that he was a brilliant footballer. However, he was played too much. He was overplayed when he shouldn't have been played by Arsene Wenger.
I agree with that.
Hold on, Phil Foden's being rested. He recently, there was four or 5 games in a row he didn't start. He's being rotated. He's under a manager who's looking after him. He's looking after all his players. There's more of a chance that he won't suffer like Jack Wilshere suffered. That's why I think he's got more of a chance. But in terms of talent, of course Jack Wilshere had talent. You listed some very, very, very good players. Not one of them would I say oh, they're the best since Bobby Moore. Not one of them.
Not even Rooney.
Wayne Rooney might come close and he'd be in the conversation. But even then, I thought there was an aggression that sometimes stepped over the mark that meant he wasn't the perfect footballer. For me, I look at Phil Foden and I see we just watched him last night leading the press. I mean, he's playing a false nine like it's his natural position. He scores, he creates, he's trusted by Pep in a quadruple chasing side. His heat map last night, we had a look at it earlier, proven to have combined, get this right, his heat map last night was proven to have combined the work that both David Silva and Leroy Sané were doing, about 3-4 years ago. His energy, his running, player of the tournament when England won the Under-17 World Cup in 2017, scored 2 in the final, played over 100 times for Man City already. This is not a new kid on the block. This is somebody who's established at Manchester City. And I'm talking about the absolute quality and talent and being trusted at that very top level. Not Tottenham with Dele Alli trying to get in the top 4. I'm talking the very top level, competing seriously for all the honours. When have we ever seen a player of his age doing what he's doing in a side that's competing for everything? We haven't. We haven't.
Wayne Rooney has got to be in that conversation. You've said that, and I think from a young age, that first tournament he did, he was brilliant. But we're talking, it's a big statement to say about someone who's not yet been to a tournament with England. And you talk about the juniors, there's loads of them junior players were excellent in that. He's then got to deliver it, and he is with the best team in the Premier League, and he's played games, and this year he's a major player for them, major player for Manchester City. But he's going to go from that to lifting a national team to success. Now, if he's part of a successful national team and he is that player that carries them over the line and they do something special, then he starts talking about Foden being one of the best players ever. But we're talking about him now before he's even played in a tournament.
Come on, hang on.
You're talking about him being Messi or Ronaldo and he's not playing in a tournament.
Well, when did Messi take Argentina over the line? Are you saying he's not a special player? When did Ronaldo? He got injured in the final that they won. You know, you can't just say if he doesn't win anything with England, he's not special. We're talking about the talent he's got. If he plays under Gareth Southgate and they get knocked out in the group stages at the Euros, is it going to be Phil Foden's fault? What do you think? I doubt it.
Well, he has to take responsibility as one of the players in the team, same as every other player in that squad.
That's not what I asked. It's not going to be his fault. It'll be a team thing. It'll be the manager thing. But do we think that if we had Pep Guardiola in charge, what would we be thinking? Oh, well, maybe we could have done better under Pep. And I don't want to do Gareth Southgate down, but you can't just say, well, it's a bit like Gaza. We didn't win anything with England.
But
with
he was special, though. Look, he got to a semi-final and he was an unbelievable player all the way through it. And what added to that was his personality and the crying, and that's carried on that romantic story of everything about Paul Gascoigne.
Yeah, but we're talking about real things like pressing from the front. I'd rather...
Manchester City.
Yeah. You know, they're competing for 4
For Manchester City, by far the best team with a mile.
They're better than England.
Most of the things they do, he does pressing, he does everything I've said. I am not denying he's one player who I absolutely adore watching. But it's a massive thing to say he's going to be England's greatest player since Bobby Moore.
The best product since Bobby Moore in English football. Agree or disagree? 08717 22 3344.